we will get straight to it. Go ahead. No. But you can if you want. Mm-hmm. I got a share screen.
Make sure you put your cash app up there.
Yep. It should be up there though. I'm gonna switch the stream too. Let me get this started. Let me get this shared. This is always the most difficult part. But as usual, guys, back at it with another boxing stream. Tonight we got Canelo Alvarez. First Triple G, the third fight, much anticipated rematch. I'm excited. Unfortunately, I couldn't get a prediction video done, but I had to get my prediction video on the fly. What's up, Tahoe? I'm having a great day, actually. I'm ready to get started. Jesse Bam Rodriguez is fighting right now in the co-main event. So give me 1 second and I'll be right with you guys. Get that. Who are you going for? Zasha, I'm going for Triple G. I think it'll be a good fight. I thought Triple G won the second fight. And I thought the first fight was a draw, so I'm going to go with Triple G. It was good, CKT. I'm ready. This fight can't come sooner. However, it's kind of underwhelming since both guys are kind of... As for Triple G, he's getting older. He didn't have his best performance in his last fight. And, of course, Canelo had his loss against Dimitri Bivol. So it's not the same intensity and like hype to this fight as the last one was. Oh, you team Canelo? Okay. Yeah, Canelo can definitely win this fight, but I personally have Triple G. You can never count out Canelo. But I'll have to be honest, I'm not the biggest Canelo fan in the world. But I respect him and I respect his talent. You don't get it. Not a lot of fights that are as... If this was like a few years ago, like 4 years ago, this fight would be bigger. I hope Triple G wins. I'm not a Canelo fan at all. Same here. I'm not the biggest Canelo fan. I don't hate the guy. I'm just not the biggest Canelo fan in the world. So I hope Triple G can pull off the win. He might be a little bit overdue because he definitely didn't look good in his last fight, but we'll see. This fight that I was supposed to be streaming last week, but of course the Shields and Marshall fight got canceled. It's not Canelo, it's the judge's fault. Very good point. Very good point. Yeah, it was the judges, and it's the same judges for this fight. The same judges that ref those two fights are going to be that called those two fights. Those are the same judges that are going to be here tonight. Seriously. So I hope there's no funny business going on tonight. But it's always with those few judges in big fights like this, especially with Canelo, they always seem to turn out a little weird. Pretty sure everybody remembers the Laura fight. To me, that Danny Jacobs fight when Canelo fought Danny Jacobs was kind of weird. Triple G better win 10 rounds. He got to win 10 rounds. I can't. I put my tags in here. Okay, here we go. But it's going to take a Herculean effort to not only overcome Canelo, but to overcome the judges as well. It always turns out like this. I thought, personally for me, I thought Bivol was going to get robbed. Because it's always some funny business with the judges, especially when you have Canelo fighting. It's unavoidable. And I'm not taking that away from Canelo. I'm not trying to, put a bad reputation on his name, but it's just the truth. His fights always end in some type of controversy. At least his biggest fights. Bam Rodriguez looking good though.
That was the guy he was telling me about. Bam Rodriguez. Right?
Yeah, Bam looking good. I still think he has a little bit more to go. He still needs to dethrone them 4 kings. He already got one of them. But he looks promising. He looks very promising. He's a rising star of the sport. And to go from, because he headlined his own event, but it was nowhere near as big as this event. So to go from that to being on the undercard of Canelo and Triple G doesn't get much bigger than that. It's been a big week for boxing as far as news. I think Terrence Crawford and Errol Spence have made a tentative agreement. That's why I'm not a fan. Canelo's good. He comes to fight and everything. The fishy cards are just a turnoff. Yeah, I get it. I get it. And, it gets on my nerves, too. I definitely get it. I thought the first 2 fights with Triple G were very suspicious. The Danny Jacobs fight was suspicious. The Bivol fight was suspicious. The Kovalev fight before Kovalev got knocked out was suspicious. The Billy Joe Sanders fight, it's always something. It's never just cut and dry with these judges. You're going to have to win every single round to beat Canelo. The only reason they didn't give that fight to Canelo when he fought Bivol was that Bivol won so many rounds and it was just so apparent that he was winning that they just couldn't rob him. So if Triple G, I don't see Triple G having a performance like that at, 40 years old now? He's like 40 years old now. So I hope so. But I don't know. I just think that with Canelo Alvarez, I think the train has left the station with Canelo Alvarez. I think I wouldn't say he's on the way out, but his mystique is fading away. He's not the same fighter that he once was. Why is the stream age restricted?
Yeah, I seen that too.
Can I stop that? Let me see this.
I seen that too when I signed on. They said the same thing.
I could have swore I clicked no on that.
Yeah. Turn that off.
Turn that off. What was that? YouTube again and their shenanigans. But yeah, it could go either way. I still think Triple G has just a little bit left, but Floyd was a majority decision. Laura won at least 8, maybe 9 rounds. Cotto was close, not a blowout like the cards said. Yeah, it's just always something with him. Laura was really bad to me. I think that was one of the worst. I thought Erislandy won that fight. Amir Khan, before he got knocked out, was definitely winning that fight. Seriously. It's the facts. And I don't hate Canelo. It's just, Canelo, he comes to fight. He's a very good fighter, but it's just, he can be a product of the judges sometimes. It's the truth. We can all admit the truth. But Laura was really bad. I felt like Canelo was getting outboxed in that fight. That's just me. Amir had every round, yeah. There's no question. He had every single round. Before he got knocked out. Before he lost focus and got knocked out. Yeah, Jesse just hurt somebody too. And Julio Gonzalez is hurt right now. Body shots by Jesse Bam Rodriguez. They're right near the ropes. Bam is just relentless. He is very relentless. His fight against forgive me if I say this wrong, Sarunvacat, I think that's how you say his name. His fight against Sarunvacat was very good. I mean, Sarunvacat was one of the best fighters in that division. Granted, he's older now, but Bam came and he showed out. Still, it's just I'm not entirely sold on Jesse Bam Rodriguez yet. I just need to see a little bit more. You know, maybe the fight against Chocolatito or Estrada will like push me over the edge, but I still need to see a little bit more with him. I don't want to hop on the train too fast. The guy that beat Chocolatito, yes. No, not the guy that beat Chocolatito. Are you referring to Bam Rodriguez or are you referring to Sarunvacat? Because I don't know, Bam hasn't fought Chocolatito. I think Bam might be hurt too, because he stopped throwing punches. He getting hit with them body shots. Yeah, Sarunvacat fought Chocolatito, yeah. And I think he beat Chocolatito, but that you know, I kind of feel like Chocolatito wasn't at his best in those fights. He looks rejuvenated now. And I think he hurt him too. Good fight going on between Bam and Gonzalez. They're right in the middle of the ring. Julio Gonzalez is putting together good combinations in the middle of the ring. He just hit Bam with another liver shot. Bam sticking the jab out right in the middle of the ring. See, that's the thing with him. He gets hit a lot. Ooh, good uppercut by Julio Gonzalez. See, that's the thing. That's what I just said. I need to see a little bit more because Sarunvacat is old. You know, he's not the same fighter he once was. He's stiff. So it's not hard to beat Sarunvacat if you just have the right game plan, which Bam Rodriguez did have. But it's just, you know, I need to see a little bit more from him before I can consider him a pound-for-pound fighter. You know, everybody crowned him after his win, and he deserves it, but it's not. He's not there yet. He is not there yet. You know, he hasn't gone through that gauntlet yet. Yeah, I agree. Versailles got him twice, but Bam just got all over Versailles. Yeah. Yeah, I agree. And Bam, he's a younger guy. He had a good game plan. He was just gonna use his footwork. He also punished Sarung Versailles. I think that's how you say his name. So yeah, I do think that Bam has a lot of talent, but I don't think he's pound for pound yet. On the edge.
All right, take care. All right. See you later. All right, appreciate y'all. All right.
Julio Gonzalez is boxing very well right now. I'm not even trying to score this fight because I haven't seen it all, so I'm just going by what I'm seeing in these next few rounds. Bam could really easily flip the fight to his favor. So and he's getting Julio Gonzalez is giving him a good challenge though. So I don't know. This is one of those fights where you kind of question if Bam is that guy, because this is his first title defense, which came really quickly as he throws a combination on the ropes. Right in that neutral corner, Bam Rodriguez and Gonzalez are. Good combination by Julio Gonzalez. Ooh, good straight shot by Bam Rodriguez. This has been a better fight than I expected. Everybody, and the crowd is still getting ready for one fight and one fight only, and that's Canelo, of course. He's the guy everybody came out to see, but this is a pretty good co-main. Fighter's still near in the red corner right now. Got it. Ooh. Whatever became of Nicholas Walters after Loma embarrassed him, I have no idea. Because I'm not the biggest Loma fan either, to be honest. I've seen a lot of Loma fights. I haven't seen that fight. Let's just say that. I'm not the biggest Loma fan either. I kind of feel like Loma he's good, but he's a product of what marketing is, with the marketing and ESPN's power and marketing and all that. He's kind of a product of that. I feel like Lomachenko could have made them fights for like Gervonta Davis and Devin Haney and all that. I kind of feel like his career has been kind of underwhelming to me. That being said, if Loma can regain that former glory and get back to his best, he's still a very good fighter and is good for the sport of boxing. And no, I'm not the biggest fan of Loma either. Because I feel like he's just the same as Canelo. In some instances, some of the judges' decisions can be weird. Some of the scorecards come out weird. And even though he wins the fights in dominant fashion on the scorecards, like the fight with Richard Comey, I kind of felt like Comey won some rounds in that fight. Or even a fight with Linares. So sometimes these cards can look fishy on Lomachenko's side too. To me, Alexander Usyk is the best Ukrainian boxer in the world, period. Period. I like Loma, but he's not the best Ukrainian fighter in the world. Seriously, if we're being honest. There's no one better. There's no Ukrainian fighter better than Alexander Usyk. Right now. And can you actually believe Canelo Alvarez said he was still open to fighting Alexander Usyk? There's no way he could win that fight. And people actually believe he can win that fight. There's no way. There's no way Canelo Alvarez can beat Alexander Usyk at his natural weight class. Nicholas Walters was a killer at my time, in my mind anyway. Walters was 126 but looked like a middleweight. I never saw Nicholas Walters fight. Yeah, I never saw him fight, so I can't tell you much about him. But from what you just said, he sounds like a good fighter. It's just Loma. Loma's very underwhelming. His career has been very underwhelming to me. Sean Porter has a win over Usyk. Sean Porter beat Usyk in the amateurs. That was the amateurs, not the pros. There are weight classes in boxing for a reason, and Dmitry Bivol showed that against his fight against Canelo Alvarez. In his fight against Canelo Alvarez. Yeah, I agree. But there's no comparing Alexander Usyk and Canelo Alvarez. They're both great fighters in their own right. Canelo has multiple undisputed championships. Uh, Usyk is looking to become a two-time undisputed champion as they just Bam and Gonzalez just exchange near the neutral corner. So this has been a very good fight. I'm sorry, Israel Gonzalez. Still impressive. Canelo can't win at heavyweight. No, no. Hey, I thought he was talking about fighting him at like a cruiserweight or a catchweight or something. He still couldn't beat Usyk with that. I just don't see it. He's not going to outbox Usyk. Usyk's footwork is too good. And if we're being honest, his fight against Bivol, he kind of got outboxed against Bivol. Canelo is a great fighter as they just show him on the big board right now. But there's no way that some of his fans hype him up to beat some of these fighters like an Alexander Usyk. There's no way he can win that fight. He's too small, first of all. He would have to rehydrate to a ridiculous weight that's going to drain all his power, which happened in the Bivol fight. He had no power on his shots, and it didn't phase Dimitri Bivol at all. It's okay to. And Canelo's a great fighter. He is a great fighter. There's no denying that. He's been pound for pound number one before. He's been pound for pound number one for a long time. I agree with you 100%. Bivol had his was gun shy. Yeah, he was. Do you really think that Canelo Alvarez, if Bivol would really went all out like he usually does, if he really went all out, that fight wouldn't even been close? Some people even still had Canelo winning that fight, and I don't see how. You can try to give Canelo rounds in that fight, but I don't see it. I just didn't see it. It wasn't close anyway, right? Bivol, let's just chalk it up to what it is. Bivol was too big for Canelo. It was too much, and he was too skilled, too big for Canelo. It's the facts. This fight with Triple G will be his like rejuvenation party, if I could say that. You know, it will prove, if he beats Triple G, it will still prove that he still has it. This will be a fight that will kind of get him back in the running for fighting those big ones. Maybe, a rematch with Dimitri Bivol at some point. But I don't expect him to even win that, as Bam just got caught by a hard right hand by Israel Gonzalez. And to be real, Canelo Alvarez will never be Floyd Mayweather. It's period. Point blank period. Canelo and Floyd Mayweather are two different people. Floyd Mayweather is Floyd Mayweather for a reason. Canelo Alvarez is his own brand. Stop treating Canelo Alvarez like he's tethered to Floyd Mayweather and vice versa. He shouldn't rematch Bivol. It will be a repeat. I think so. I think it will just be a repeat of what happened in the first fight, because he's just too small. He's just too small, and there are weight classes for a reason, and Bivol is just more skilled. He's just more skilled than Canelo Alvarez, because he's naturally, he's taking punches from Joe Smith. So Bivol isn't worried about Canelo's power, and I never thought that going in, even though I didn't think Bivol. This is the thing. Going into the fight, I didn't think Bivol had a chance, because it's not fair to compare mortal men to Floyd Mayweather Jr. Floyd Mayweather, he's his own entity. Stop comparing people to Floyd Mayweather. There will never be another Floyd Mayweather in the sport. Period. No matter how many people want Canelo to be, no matter how many people want Terrence Crawford or Errol Spence, there will never be another Floyd Mayweather, because he's his own brand. Canelo is his own brand. Errol Spence is his own brand. Terrence Crawford is his own brand. Lomachenko is his own brand. There's nobody who is going to be as big as Floyd Mayweather. I'm not the biggest Floyd super fan in the world. I like Floyd. I'm not a super fan of Floyd, but Floyd Mayweather is probably one of the greatest boxers of our generation, if not the #1 boxer of our generation. He's his own brand. Stop comparing it. Stop comparing the two. It's like comparing apples and oranges. Canelo Alvarez will never be on the level as Floyd Mayweather. Canelo Alvarez is good where he is at as being Canelo Alvarez. Perfect. He's perfect where he's at. He built his own brand. Makes millions of dollars fight. He's making 45 million. And that's just his purse. That's just the purse he's taking home. 45 million for this fight. Literally. The man doesn't need Floyd Mayweather. Floyd Mayweather doesn't need him. And they fought 10 plus years ago. That discussion has been over. Let Canelo Alvarez be Canelo Alvarez. Let Floyd Mayweather be Floyd Mayweather. Period. But anyway, Canelo Alvarez, I don't think he should rematch Bivol. I don't think he will rematch Bivol, if I'm being honest, because Bivol will probably move on to Arthur Beterbiev, and he has a fight with what's the boy's name? Zurdo Ramirez. He has a fight with Zurdo Ramirez coming up. So I just don't see the time frame that Canelo can fit in that Bivol rematch. He could, but I just don't see it. It will just be the same thing. It's the same thing with the Devin Haney George Kambosos situation. It will be the same result over again. He's just going to outbox Kambosos. Why do we need to see that fight again? So I don't think Canelo should do it. Looks like Israel Gonzalez is going to the corner to get his eye checked out because he's bleeding. But that's my opinion. Like I said, I'm not the biggest fan of Canelo. I'm definitely not one of his haters, but I'm not his super fan either. I give credit where credit is due, and Canelo has gotten his credit, but he also deserves his fair share of criticism for some of his decisions in his career, and two, some of the fights that he's fought in, I don't think he deserved to win most of the time. Some fights were just closer than others, and he kind of benefited off the judges just a little bit. He'll still be pound for pound, there's no doubt. Ooh, good left hand by Jesse Bam Rodriguez on the ropes, and then he hit Israel Gonzalez with a liver shot that bent him over near the ropes. Now let's switch the focus over to Triple G. Triple G is, again, another guy who was very good, one of the best boxers of our generation, but is still kind of underwhelming. His career is still kind of underwhelming. I remember seeing Oscar in his prime and all that era of fighters, and Canelo wouldn't have stood a chance then. Just a couple years earlier, and we wouldn't know of Canelo. I wouldn't go that far. I still think he's a good fighter, but to say that he's better than Oscar or better than Chavez, no. He's not the greatest Mexican fighter of all time. Period. He's not. He's not. And people who say he is are misinformed. It's their opinion, but they're misinformed. Because Oscar, the one thing you could say about Oscar, I wasn't the biggest Oscar fan either. I didn't really even see Oscar fight like that. That's a little bit before my time. But from what I've heard, and from the fights I've watched, Oscar at least tried to fight everybody. Sometimes I feel, ooh, low blow by Jesse Bam Rodriguez. Another low blow. And looks like Israel Gonzalez is getting sick of all the low blows. He's down on his knees right now. Trinidad, Hopkins, Wright, Vargas, and Corte and Forrest would all beat Canelo. Hopkins would definitely beat Canelo. Period. Hopkins would destroy Canelo. And Rinky Wright, too. Ooh, that is low. Wow. Okay, that's really low. If we're being honest, if like a really young Triple G could beat Canelo. There are a lot of guys. Canelo isn't unbeatable. He's not. He's not. The media has made you believe that, and like I said, not taken away from Canelo, but there are guys that could beat Canelo, and there are guys that he hasn't fought yet. I always thought David Benavidez could beat Canelo Alvarez. Oh no, not this dude. Not this dude. Logan Paul is at the fight. Oh no. Oh, not this dude. But I always thought David Benavidez could beat Canelo. At least Jamal Charlo would make it competitive. Demetrius Andrade, if he ever fought somebody, he could honestly beat Canelo. His style, Canelo doesn't like styles that he can't predict. He recently came out and said that he would never fight another Mexican fighter. And if anybody ever heard, and now tell me, chat, if anybody ever heard Chavez say that, Chavez Sr. say that, or Oscar say that, would we consider them to be great fighters like they were? I'm just saying. The best fight the best, period. And there's been decisions in Floyd's career that I haven't necessarily agreed with, but at least he's fought most of the best. He's fought a lot of the best. He fought Canelo. I mean, Jamal wins too. Never hear them say much. Jamal Charlo is an interesting case because Jamal Charlo he's self-destructing his own career because he's been chasing Canelo for so long through multiple weight divisions. Waiting multiple years, has been mandatory for multiple years. He's destroyed his own career chasing Canelo, and that's kind of his own fault. His little brother, his twin brother has already become undisputed, and Jamal has been stuck with the same belt for like 4 or 5 years now, and has not fought a single opponent that I can truly say, other than Julian J. Rock Williams, that can really give him a challenge. And that's the problem with Jamal Charlo. I will say that he would make the fight competitive against Canelo, but we'll never know what his full talents are because he hasn't fought anybody. You can only get so much out of one knockout against J. Rock Williams. You can only get so much. And let's just be honest, Jamal Charlo's last fight against Montiel wasn't a good showing at all. His competition has got worse and worse as the years goes by, and it's because he's been chasing Canelo for so long, and he's ruined his own career chasing somebody else's career. So that's not on necessarily Canelo if you want to go there, but that's more of a result on Charlo. But at the same time, the best fight the best, and Canelo never really gave Charlo a chance. So I don't know. It's complicated. I think he would make the fight interesting against Canelo, but I just don't know if he would just outright beat him. I think Demetrius Andrade has a better chance of just outright beating Canelo, but we'll never know because he'll never get that fight. And Demetrius Andrade, again, another fighter that just hasn't fought anybody. It's the truth. Whether that be a product of people ducking them or whether that be a product of ducking each other, we'll just never know what those two guys can do, especially against Canelo, because they've never fought top-tier competition. That's just the facts. I'll keep it honest. Honestly, I think Canelo would probably edge out the win against Jamal Charlo, but we'll never know. Because I just don't see that fight being made anytime soon, if it ever happens. But and again, like I was saying before I read that comment, Triple G, his career has been underwhelming because there's been two guys there in Demetrius Andrade and Jamal Charlo that have been waiting to fight him, and he still hasn't fought them. And now he's 40 years old still. Again, he's kind of wasted his last 4 years chasing Canelo. It's the truth. It's not. I'm not hating on Triple G. I like Triple G. Triple G is incredible, but he's kind of ruined his own career again. His career is underwhelming because he's been chasing Canelo for so long that he kind of faded into obscurity, and now he's 40 years old trying to fight Canelo. This rematch is long overdue. But honestly, you know, this fight could go up in the air because, again, Canelo didn't look too good in his last fight. Triple G didn't look too good in his last fight, so... And Triple G won his fight, by the way, against Ryota Murata, which he didn't look good. And Canelo lost his last fight, which he didn't look good. So that's why it's kind of a toss-up. And considering what we saw in the last two fights between these two, it's going to be close. It's going to be close. So, and Triple G has always been, you know, his power has always been an anomaly. He has a stiff jab. He's incredibly stiff as a fighter and has no footwork whatsoever. But he's always been a good fighter. I just feel like he's been chasing the wrong guy for 4 years. In those 4 years, he could have fought at least one guy in that division other than Canelo Alvarez. He could have fought Demetrius Andrade. You know, he could have fought Jamal Charlo. There are guys there he could have fought. So Triple G, I hope he wins this fight. I feel like he wasted those last really good years of his career chasing Canelo Alvarez. I haven't commentated any of this co-main at all, but I'm talking to you guys right now, and I enjoy that. So, Tahoe, I want to ask you something. Who's your pound-for-pound number one? You know, who's the fighter you got at the top of your pound-for-pound list? And chat, and I encourage everybody to put their pound-for-pound number one in the chat. Because for years, Canelo Alvarez has been pound-for-pound number one. I don't think he's pound-for-pound number one anymore, so I want to see who still has Canelo pound-for-pound number one and who's moved on from that point. So put your pound-for-pound number one in the chat, please. Oh, good shot. But, you know, it's a good fight to have, Triple G Canelo 3. But it's long overdue. I just think it's long overdue. And it doesn't have the same hype around it as it once did. And considering how most people score those fights, you know, some people might have Triple G up 2-0. Some people might have Canelo up 2-0. Some people might have it split. But what the official decisions say is that, you know, Canelo is winning a series between these two because he's won a fight over Triple G. The first fight was a draw, and now, you know, Triple G is fighting to even the score up. This Bam fight has kind of been underwhelming right now. The crowd is kind of out of it. It's okay. It's been okay, but it hasn't been as good as I thought it would be. Just 2 rounds to go before Canelo versus Triple G, part 3. He's already gloved up. Canelo is gloved up. He's ready to go. I haven't seen Triple G at all. This whole night, they have not shown Triple G on the big screen. Canelo really wants to regain some of that momentum he lost in the defeat to people. He's accepted, at least recently, that he lost that fight. I mean, what else could he do? He couldn't do nothing but accept the fight. Except that he lost that fight. You can't sit up there with a straight face. And yeah, Gennady Golovkin's locker room is closed. They don't even have a camera in there. He closed his door and everything. There is nobody in Gennady Golovkin's room. There's no cameraman, nothing. So there's nobody in that room right now. I don't know what's going on, but Gennady Golovkin does not let anybody in that room. That's something to keep an eye on as we progress to the main event. 11th round between Bam Rodriguez and Israel Gonzalez, and a fight that's been kind of underwhelming. I think I have Bam winning, but it has been underwhelming, to say the least. Ooh, good straight shot by Israel Gonzalez. And the fight has been somewhat, like, they've thrown a lot of punches, they've hit each other with a lot of punches, but it's just the energy is not there with the crowd and even the fighters at some point. I think the crowd is just so tensed up and focused on this matchup between Canelo and Triple G that it's kind of taking the fun out of this co-main event. Good uppercut by Jesse Bam Rodriguez. I still need to see more from Bam. This is a good showing for him, but it's not the dominant showing that I thought. That's not to me that you know, he still has a long way to go before he's pound for pound. We're just waiting now. If Golovkin wins this fight, I don't know where he go. The thing is, if Golovkin wins this fight, where does he go from here? Weird, huh? Oh, I'm sorry, Tahoe. I didn't even see your chat. My chat wasn't working for some reason. You have Crawford number 1, Fury number 2, Usyk number 3, Spence number 4. Ooh. That's weird. Ooh, good body shot, but it looks low. Weird, huh? No cameras for Triple G. That is weird. That is weird. Period. Yeah, I missed a lot of your comments. My bad. Great minds think alike. I couldn't say it much better than myself. How much does it come down to motivation? A lot. A lot. The fight before Murata was tough for Triple G too. Yeah. Yeah. Triple G, it's weird with him. He's getting older and he's chased Canelo for so long, and his best years are obviously behind him because he's really struggling in these last few fights. But you know, he might still have enough to beat Canelo at this stage. You know, we don't know. I don't know the game plan for Canelo. I don't know the game plan for Triple G. They have released nothing on that part, and because they're so similar. You know, Canelo is maybe off into the sunset either way for Triple G. That's what I'm saying. Like, where does he go from this? He's not going to fight none of those guys down there who are holding the belt. You know, is he going to fight Jamal Charlo? Is he going to fight, David Benavidez? You know, got David Morrell down there. Who else? I just don't see it. I don't see it. I don't see it. It's just not. It doesn't make sense for him. The only reason he would take this fight is to get back at Canelo Alvarez for those next 2 fights. I'm just saying. He would have to ride off into the sunset. He would have to. There's no, and if he loses, he's definitely retiring. Like there's no way. There's no way. Oh, another low shot by Bam. This is like the third time this dude has been hitting the groin area by Bam. Usually that's a call for a warning or at least a disqualification or at least a warning, but Kenny Bayless hasn't issued any, which is weird. Kenny Bayless is usually a spot-on referee. Last round between Bam and Israel Gonzalez in a fight I didn't really catch much of. But I think, from what they're saying, I think Bam is winning, but you never know. But, as much as people try to say, those guys weren't deserving of a Canelo fight, or they weren't deserving, of a Triple G fight, let's just say what it is. Jamal Charlo and Demetrius Andrade are good fighters in that division, and at least deserved at least one chance to fight at least one of them. They didn't fight either of them. So, and you're telling me now that if Triple G wins, he's gonna fight one of these guys? And Canelo, even Canelo, is he gonna fight one of these guys now after it's been 4 years long overdue? It's not happening. It's not happening. Honestly, if we're being honest, where does Canelo go from this? Does he go back up to face Bivol? Does he finally, face David Benavidez? Does he finally face Jamal Charlo? I don't know. Canelo's ran out of options at this point in some of these divisions, and it's all. And let's be honest. Let's be honest. Rocky Fielding and Callum Smith and Caleb Plant, they were not all that great of fights for Canelo. Let's just be, especially the Rocky Fielding fight. There's not many guys left like that for him to fight anymore. Especially if Tahoe, if you've watched that fight, the Avni Yildirim fight was terrible. I still don't know how anybody can defend that Avni Yildirim fight. The Canelo Avni Yildirim fight was terrible. Avni Yildirim had no chance. None whatsoever. He had no chance whatsoever. And people found a way to defend that decision by Canelo. And I get that I don't even think he was the mandatory for Canelo at the time. I think he had Yildirim moved up into that spot. But that Yildirim fight was so terrible, I don't know how anybody could defend that decision. You had even some hardcore Canelo fans had to take a step back and say, that fight, Avni Yildirim didn't deserve that fight. There are plenty of guys Jamal Charlo should have had that fight. Demetrius Andrade should have had that fight. Avni Yildirim did not deserve a Canelo fight. Point blank, period. Fight over between Bam and Israel Gonzalez. I think Bam will walk away with the win. So we're getting ready for the main event. Now the countdown starts. Who will win this much anticipated third fight between Triple G and Canelo? But, that's just my opinion. Avni Yildirim did not deserve that fight. Period. I don't think so either. Triple G has always been a bit reserved in his career. Yeah. Canelo might fight one of them, but I doubt it. No, he won't fight any. Canelo is the money man. That's why he gets away with it. No. Yeah, I agree. The media but I blame the media for this. I do. Because they've empowered it so much. And the fans have empowered it so much that now it's just commonplace for him. Canelo could be so much better. His career could be so much better. Especially later in his career. Caleb Plant, Callum Smith, Avni Yildirim, Rocky Fielding, those aren't fights. Old Sergey Kovalev, he thought that Dmitry Bivol was going to be easy. So no, it's money man or not. That's not good for business. And people ripped. I hate to make the comparison again. I just made the point that I'm not going to compare them. People rip Floyd Mayweather for the Berto fight. They rip Floyd Mayweather for the Maidana fight. But they don't rip Canelo Alvarez for the Yildirim or the Yildirim fight or the Rocky Fielding fight. What did Rocky Fielding bring to the table? No disrespect to Rocky Fielding, but he was just a big guy that was just going to get hit with body shots and get knocked out. Like, everybody saw that coming. He was just going to get hit with one body shot and it was over. Seriously. Triple G as well. Ryota Murata was not all that great to me. Who else in Triple G's career that I didn't think, even deserved a fight like that? Didn't Willie Monroe Jr. have a fight against Triple G at one point? I have to be. I've never heard of Fielding before or since. I don't even know who Yildirim is. Maidana was a champion in the first fight, taking off Broner's 0. Yeah. I mean, I never heard of Rocky Fielding before. All I know is that he was a big guy that was going to get knocked out. Avni Yildirim is just. I beg you to go watch that fight, and you tell me, does that look like a guy that should be fighting Canelo Alvarez. What time are they boxing? They're going to be coming on right now, Leo. So they're going to be making their ring walks in just a few minutes, so stay in the chat. But Yildirim, really? Yildirim, and right after that fight, Yildirim went back to Turkey and got knocked out by a nobody. By somebody we'd never heard of. By a part-time fighter. Yildirim was horrible. Where can I watch it for free? I do not know. I do not know, and I don't even think I can share that information on here. But you can listen to this commentary stream and get the fight for free that way. And I don't know where you can see it for free. Jesse Bam Rodriguez defends his belt in a very unimpressive fashion for me. But that's not why we're here tonight. We're here for Canelo Triple G3. So settle in, get ready for this commentary. My voice is going to be, I'm going to be paying for this tomorrow because I know I'm going to be streaming. But it's worth it for you guys. But I will say this. I do think that Canelo, we appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate it as well. I appreciate all the support. I do think that there's nowhere left for Canelo to run to. Tell me how many more Rocky Fieldings are there in the world? How many more Agni Yildirims there are in the world? How many more Callum Smiths are there in the world? And Callum Smith was a great fighter, don't get me wrong. He looked good in his return fight. But it just seemed like Callum Smith did not want to fight Canelo Alvarez that night. Period. Point blank, period. He was very gun-shy in that fight. The last one beat him. Yeah. So, yeah, I just don't think that, Canelo Alvarez he's a good fighter. But, Beterbiev is a monster. And people were talking about this for a while. Arthur Beterbiev would destroy Canelo Alvarez. The only reason he's not in my pound for pound list is because I need to see more. I need to see more. Like, he's so interesting that I just need to see more. I need to see him fight Dimitri Bivol. I need to see him fight Zero Ramirez and all that. He can do that. He'll definitely be a pound for pounder. But there's no way Canelo could beat him. That power, that size, there's no way. There's no way you could justify having Canelo beat him. And I'm not biased. I don't hate Canelo, but it's the facts. It's the facts. Canelo probably beats Jamal Charlo. Canelo might beat Demetrius Andrade. Canelo might beat David Benavidez. He's not going to beat Dimitri Bivol. He's not going to beat Arthur Beterbiev. He fought Sergey, and people used the Kovalev fight as like a parameter. Kovalev was old. Is it round one? No. Fight isn't even on yet. So stay in the chat and stay patient, because it's going to be a minute. It's not round one yet. But they will be making their ring walk soon. I don't know, man. It's just Canelo Alvarez is a hit and miss fighter to me. He's a great fighter, and he deserves his credit, but he also deserves his fair share of criticism, just like everybody else. He should be treated no differently than any other fighter or any other athlete in the world. Yeah. I mean, the look on my face was priceless. Yeah. Crazy. Everybody's... It's just me. I'm just tired of the narrative that, Canelo Alvarez can do no wrong. Some of his decisions have been just as wrong. People rip Charlo for not fighting anybody. I ripped Jamal Charlo for not fighting the top competition. I ripped Demetrius Andrade for not fighting top competition. But somehow Canelo always gets a pass. It's never just cut and dry with him. There's always a but. Oh well, he didn't fight the best competition, but there's always a but when it comes to Canelo Alvarez. He lost to Dimitri Bivol, but there's a lot of buts. And after Dimitri Bivol beat him, but he was trying to achieve greatness. Be that as it may, that does not change the result. What is going on now? This is gonna get me copyrighted. Canelo fought old men, regardless of if he fought old men or not, because Caleb Plant wasn't old. Dimitri Bivol wasn't old. Floyd was old. Floyd was like 40 years old when he fought Canelo Alvarez. The fighting old does not matter. Fighting inexperience and fighting lesser fighters than yourself does matter. Rocky Fielding was not all that. And they drove that fight up like it was a big fight. Abney Yildirim was not all that. He wasn't even heard of. There's no way you can defend it. Period. You have to give Canelo the same energy as everybody else. You know, even with Anthony Joshua last week, there was no buts for Anthony Joshua. There was no buts for Anthony Joshua. He just lost, right? When Canelo got beat by Bivol, there was a but in every single sentence because in their minds, he tried to be great. And which he did. You know, if you want to make that leap up to light heavyweight and try to become, you know, champion in that division after you just, you know, became undisputed in the super middleweight division, that's fine. That's called making history. But using that as a crutch and an excuse to you know, defend him losing is not. That's not okay. That's not okay. And that's the reality of the situation. You think if Floyd would have fought, and I hate doing this again, if you think that Floyd lost to Dimitri Bivol, would you say he was just being great? You think they would say he was just being great? Canelo waited for the biggest names to get old and to fight them. List the names, the big names other than Floyd Mayweather that he fought at Cotto. Because I'll go down the list. Let me pull up this. Because I can go down the list of fights that you know you can just question everything about him. Kovalev was old. Kovalev was never that good to me. So let's look at this. Danny Jacobs. Mosley was old, yes. Mosley was old. Mosley was old when he fought Mayweather too, but he still had a little bit left, and he actually hurt Mayweather in that fight. Let's look at the fights all the way from, I'm going to start at 2011. I'm going to start at 2011. So his first really big fight was against, I guess, Kermit Cintron or Shane Mosley. After he fought Kermit Cintron, he landed better than anyone on Floyd. Yeah, Mosley did, yeah. Shane Mosley, he then fought Shane Mosley the very next year. Josestito Lopez, who was never all that good when Canelo fought him. Austin Trout, who was never all that great, Canelo fought him. Floyd Mayweather Jr., his best fight on his resume is Floyd Mayweather Jr., and he was old, and he still beat Canelo Alvarez. His next fight was against Alfredo Angulo, again, another old fighter, and he was never all that good anyway. The fight against Erislandy Lara, I'll give him the credit for that one. He actually fought Erislandy Lara, but he lost that fight, period. The next fight was against James Kirkland, who was okay, but he's not Canelo level. Miguel Cotto was old. Amir Khan was winning that fight before he got knocked out. Liam Smith was never all that great. Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. was horrible. And I don't understand why anybody thought he could win that fight because he never took it seriously. Then the Gennady Golovkin fight won, which a lot of people thought Gennady Golovkin won. I don't think he won the first fight. I thought he won the second fight. Then he fought Golovkin again in the second fight. I thought, Golovkin won that second fight. Then the Rocky Fielding started. Danny Jacobs was old. Sergey Kovalev was old. Callum Smith was gun shy. Abner Yildirim was terrible. Billy Joe Sanders quit on the stool. Caleb Plant just did not want to fight at all, and he was too passive. And then he finally lost to Dimitri Bivol. In what world that his best fight on his resume is Floyd Mayweather Jr.? It's not like, he has this unbeatable resume. It's not. It's not. It's not. It's not the greatest resume of all time. It does not make him the greatest Mexican boxer of all time. Canelo is definitely top 3 though. He is top 3. It's Chavez, De La Hoya. What exchange? He couldn't exchange against Floyd. There was nothing to exchange. He couldn't hit Floyd. He couldn't touch Floyd. Floyd was untouchable at that point. You expect, and anybody who expected him to beat Floyd kind of, fooled themselves a little bit. Floyd was unbeatable at that time. Period. And Floyd, Marquez better than Canelo. I wouldn't go that far. As far as like fighting everybody, yeah, Marquez is better. As far as like being a true warrior, but as far as talent, no. To me, it's Chavez, De La Hoya, Barrera and Morales. That's a close one. That's a close one. Because Barrera and Morales were those dudes. And they like to fight everybody. They fought each other. And those were some great fights. But to me, it's just my opinion. It's Cesar Chavez Sr., Oscar De La Hoya, then Canelo. If you want to put Canelo top 3. At the worst, Canelo is top 5. I can't deny that. But I'm just saying some of the things that have happened in Canelo's career, he's benefited from. He's not perfect. Floyd wasn't perfect. Even though he had the perfect record, Floyd was not perfect. There's been multiple chances that Floyd could have lost fights. There's been multiple things in Floyd's career that I didn't like. But at the end of the day, there will be nobody who can touch Floyd. Canelo cannot touch Floyd. And you can't deny Floyd Mayweather's talent. You cannot deny Canelo Alvarez's talent. But it's just some of the decisions that they made in their career. We're talking Mexican fighter, right? Canelo isn't more Mexican fighter than Marquez. If we're just talking that, no. No, I agree with you on that. If we're just talking about the Mexican fighter, are we talking about the mentality, or we're just talking about the boxing? If we're just talking about the boxing, I think Canelo has Marquez. If we're just talking about being that Mexican fighter, that Mexican warrior, Marquez has him. Period. But if we're just talking about like boxing, I do think Canelo is a great boxer, and I think he's better than Marquez. But as far as like having the mentality, I don't think Marquez beats Canelo either. But we're just talking about the mentality, right? We're just talking about the mentality. Marquez was that dude. He fought everybody. He tried to fight everybody. Right. Yeah, I agree. And Barrera and Morales too. They had that mentality as well. And if we're talking about that, then Canelo doesn't even top the top 5 in Mexican, and as far as the mindset of a Mexican fighter. But I cannot, as far as his talent, we can't deny it. And those fights against Barrera were legendary. So, and Triple G is in his locker room. He looks kind of chunky a little bit. I don't know. Maybe it's just a shirt, but he looks kind of chunky, and Canelo looks really slim. The problems arise when you have people who think that Canelo is untouchable. As a Mexican fighter, people think he is untouchable. And as the mindset of a Mexican fighter is to fight everybody. Chavez didn't duck anybody. De La Hoya, despite some of the decisions in his career, he still ended up fighting everybody. Marquez tried to fight everybody. I mean, Marquez has fought everybody, to be honest. So yeah, I would have to agree. I have to be. If we're talking about just the mindset, I would have to agree. Canelo Alvarez just doesn't have that same mindset as those guys. But if we're talking about talent, I think Canelo can crack the top 5 of those guys, maybe even be a top 3 fighter. But his career has been underwhelming to me. And the thing is, if he had just if he had fought and beat Jamal Charlo, if he had beat Demetrius Andrade, he would be in it. And you see, and I hear Sean Porter talking about how Canelo has dominated everybody. If Canelo Alvarez had fought everybody, I'm talking about anybody who deserves that fight with him, he would be a top. He probably would be the greatest Mexican fighter of all time. But it's just some of the decisions in his career has led me to believe that he's just not the greatest Mexican fighter of all time. It's period. It's my opinion, but it can also be something can be true. So yeah, I just don't think he he has that same spirit as those guys had. So, tail of the tape, Golovkin 40 years old, Canelo 32, Canelo 5'8", Triple G 5'10". They both weigh in at 167, and they both have basically the same reach. So, 42 1-1, 37 KOs for Golovkin, 57 2-2, 39 KOs for Alvarez. We are about ready to get this fight underway. De La Hoya fought everyone from 140 to 160. Canelo makes it worse too because he literally gets his choice opponents, and we're still having this discussion. That's the point. I'm not saying Canelo isn't a great fighter. I think he's a great fighter. But you can't be the best fighter of all time without fighting everybody. At the end of the day, we're going to remember guys like Errol Spence, who's fought everybody in their divisions. We're going to remember guys like Floyd Mayweather. We're going to remember guys like Muhammad Ali. Because guess what? They tried to fight everybody no matter the cost. And let me mute this real quick. Let me mute that real quick. But yeah, I mean, he brings some of this stuff on himself. If I'm just saying, if he had fought those guys, it would be a different discussion, wouldn't it? If he had fought Jamal Charlo, if he had fought David Benavidez, if he fought, Demetrius Andrade, we wouldn't be having this discussion. The fact that we're even having this discussion about a fighter like Canelo, it's Canelo Alvarez. We shouldn't be having this discussion right now. We don't have that discussion about Terrence Crawford. We don't have that discussion, about Errol Spence, even though, you're absolutely right. It's just my opinion. I'm not saying I am right. I'm not saying it's just my opinion. And, it's just, I'm just going by what I see. We should know already, right? We should know if he's that dude. And I'm not saying he can't still be, because he's still only, 32 years old. Floyd, his later years of his career probably became his best. But it's the mindset. Where is Canelo now with his mindset? Maybe the Bivol loss changed him. I don't know. But, it's not a good start for him, because fighting a 40-year-old Triple G, it's a lose-lose situation, because if you beat him, people are going to say, he's a 40-year-old fighter. But if you lose to Triple G, then it's going to be even worse, because you lost to a 40-year-old fighter. It's not the same situation as a Floyd Mayweather. It's not. It's not. It's just not. I like to get into Canelo. I like his boxing. His skills are top notch. Even though he got outboxed by Bivol, he's still dangerous. He's still very dangerous and very talented. But it's just the mindset. It's the mindset that gets me. No credit in this one for him. I have to agree. I have to agree. There's no way you can give him like full credit for this one. I'm not saying he won't get any, because Triple G still get credit for the name, but this fight doesn't really do much for Canelo. When you've been at the top for so long, a fight with Triple G that's 4 years in the making, and that's way long overdue, it doesn't do much in terms of your career. You're just basically adding another rematch to your career. You know, it's not a fight like a Terrence Crawford or Errol Spence, you know, that massively moves forward their careers. You know, it's not a fight between like Anthony Joshua and Deontay Wilder that never happened. That fight could have moved their careers to even greater heights, but this fight doesn't. It doesn't. It doesn't strike me as the fight that's career altering for either fighter. Now, if we're gonna be impartial, this does nothing for Triple G either. This does nothing for him. Or I wouldn't say it does nothing, because if he wins, this will be a big win for Triple G, because Canelo's taking all the risks. This is a lose-lose situation for him. But for Triple G, it isn't. Either he loses or he wins. But it doesn't do anything for Triple G. Not necessarily. He's not going to go beat Canelo and then say, I want to turn around and fight David Benavidez. I want to turn around and fight, Jamal Charlo. I just don't see that happening. It will help Golovkin personally, but not professionally. It will help him get over that hump. Like, I still can't believe this dude beat me, but it won't do anything professionally. He will sleep better at night, right? He'll sleep better at night. That's the only way. That's the only thing that helps Triple G. But if we're talking about moving on forward into the later years of your career, where are you going with this? So yeah, he will sleep better at night, but he's not going to go anywhere with this. It's not like he just beat Floyd Mayweather, and it's not like he beat like a Jamal Charlo or even a Demetrius Andrade. And that still proves he can still fight them younger dudes down there. Because in his last fight against Murata, he didn't look good to me. And it's just been the constant theme with these two guys, is that their careers have been underwhelming. And it's been because of certain decisions to not fight certain guys. Fighting older guys. Golovkin hasn't had the best resume. Let me look at his resume. I can't remember it off the top of my head. But there's been a lot of guys like Gennady Golovkin who's made their careers off of fighting either older fighters or fighters that are not necessarily in their prime anymore. So this personally, yeah, it does something for him, but professionally, no. Let's look at Triple G's record. Let's look at his resume. If we're going to be impartial. If we're going to be impartial, I would say we need to look at the resume for both guys. And it's equally as underwhelming as Canelo Alvarez. Like, look at this. If we're looking, like, it's really not all that great. From 2015 to 2022, this is the list of opponents that Gennady Golovkin has had since that time. Daniel Gill, Marco Antonio Rubio, Martin Murray, Willie Monroe Jr., David Lemieux, Dominic Wade, Kell Brook, which was, again, that you can give him credit for that fight, Daniel Jacobs, who was coming off of cancer, Canelo Alvarez the first time, and then the very next fight he fought Venus Martirosyan. He fought Canelo right after. Steve Rolls in 2019, which is a cherry pick. Sergey Devianchenko, Kamil Sermetsa, Ryota Murata, and now Canelo Alvarez. The proof is in the pudding. is Triple G's record is just as underwhelming as Canelo Alvarez, considering how much these guys were touted as the best fighters in the world. Period. Triple G's making his way to the ring. Let's get started. So Triple G making his way to the ring. Let's get this fight, I guess, over with, and we'll see which fighter will win the bragging rights fight. Who will win all the bragging rights? But that's just me. I'm not saying that they're not both great fighters, but it's not making this doesn't make. There's not a clear direction coming out of this one. I think Golovkin is on his last ride, regardless of the outcome. Golovkin had the defense streak, is all he had. Yeah, that's all he had in his career. What was that? Yeah, that's kind of all he had. It was very underwhelming for Gennady Golovkin. There's been multiple fights, especially fights with guys like Andre Ward and all that. Yeah, there's been guys up there that he could have fought. He just chose not to. And that's always been a knock on Triple G, is that some of the decisions he's made in his career has cost him. But, we could go on and on about that, but at the end of the day, it is what it is. Golovkin will just never, Golovkin and Canelo will just never be those guys to me. They'll never be those guys that just strike me as like, they'll be good, excuse me, they'll be good, they'll be Hall of Famers, but they will never be considered as the greatest of all time. No, that's just not happening. It's just not happening. You can't convince me otherwise. Well said. Thank you. And I think some of the points you make as well are very, very, are true. They're very good points, and they're true. They're true. Some of it, Gennady Golovkin has just never been that guy to me. He's been a great fighter, but the career decisions have never been that great. The same with Canelo, and now they're facing each other for the third time, and it's 4 years overdue. It's 4 years overdue. And the only thing that both fighters have in common is that they fought broken down Daniel Jacobs. One from battling back from cancer, and the other one that was just way past his expiration date. That's really the only thing they have in common. And those were both really close fights that you could say, hey, maybe Daniel Jacobs could have won that fight. Just saying. Now, Kell Brook, I'll give Golovkin the credit for Kell Brook because he destroyed Kell Brook. But, Kell Brook was okay as a fighter. He was good. Don't get me wrong, he was good. But, that doesn't really move the needle. Jacobs showed everyone Triple G was human. Yeah, at the time, people thought Triple G was this robot that just could not be beat. The same thing with Canelo and Bivol. It's the same thing. And the same thing with Canelo and Floyd. Those fights showed that this guy was human. Here comes Canelo Alvarez now. So here comes Canelo, making his way to the ring. And I'm excited. I'm not saying I'm not excited for this fight because it's great boxing, but it doesn't do much in terms of their careers at this point. They're both older guys, and they're both looking, they both lost, crucial fights, and they've made no attempts to fight any of the younger guys in that division. So where do you go from here? So yeah, that's just me. Body work is the best plan for both fighters. If we're being honest, Canelo Alvarez will beat Triple G in terms of body work, because Triple G in that I think that first fight or second fight did not go to the body much, and it was it was headhunting a lot. I get it, but it showed that Canelo can take a punch. Because if you can take a punch from Triple G, you can basically take a punch from anybody. But we're talking about just about body work, I think Canelo has the advantage. Canelo, there should be no reason that Canelo loses this fight. Period. He's younger. He has all the advantages in this fight. The only thing Triple G has to his name is just that fear factor, or the power, and Canelo has power, so there's really nothing you can say that Triple G does better than Canelo. Triple G went to the body 20 times total in both fights. That's not good. That's not good. That's terrible. And that's your point. Now I get the point that you're making. That's terrible. Now, what were Canelo's numbers? Tell me Canelo's numbers. I bet you Canelo doubles that. I bet you Canelo doubles that. Has either guy been down? No. I don't think Canelo Alvarez has been down, at least in my time watching him, and I don't think Gennady Golovkin has either. So I don't know. Don't quote me on that. But I don't think either guy has been down. They both have great chins. I mean, I can give Canelo credit for one thing. He's taken some hard punches from people. He has been hurt before though, but I don't think he's ever gone down. I bet you Canelo Alvarez's numbers for body punches are much higher than Triple G. Canelo did decent body work, but that's it. Yeah. I mean, those fights were too close to call. I thought Triple G clearly won the second fight, but the first fight you could make the argument that either guy could have won, or just gave him a draw. That's ultimately the thing. That's the key to a stoppage. Body work, yeah. If you're talking about body work, yeah. Because how much output do you think you're going to... The question is, how much output are we going to get from Triple G at 40 years old? How much output? Does he still have the motor to put out output, the volume of punches that he used to when he was 28? Or even 32 for that matter. Does he still have the gas left in the tank to put out that many punches? And looking at the fight against Murata, maybe not, because he didn't look good in that fight. But you never know. This is boxing, and things happen. But I hate watching DAZN, especially when Canelo fights, because they just never give the other guy credit for anything. Neither guy has been a whirlwind at output. I mean, yeah, I agree. Canelo in his recent years has been a lot more active in his output, but that could be due to the level of resistance and competition he's faced too. How much resistance are you going to get from Rocky Fielding? How much resistance you going to get from Caleb Plant, a guy who doesn't throw many punches anyway? And it's fighting for undisputed, so it's a fight, but it just doesn't have the same feel to it like it did a few years ago. I don't know. Maybe it's just me. Maybe I'm weird, but that's just me. Triple G looks old. He looks old. And he just does not look. He did not look the same. And Canelo just didn't look good against Bivol, but he could easily just beat Triple G. I hope Triple G can win. I think Canelo. I'm pulling for Triple G. But like I said, I'm not a big Canelo fan, but you can't deny that Canelo has all the advantages in this fight. And there are no excuses. There are no excuses. I read somewhere that Triple G had a tough weight cut for this. Yes, I did hear that. So he looks dehydrated and everything else. It's always something with Canelo fights. It's always something. Dave Moretti, David Sutherland, Steve Weisfeld. Oh yeah, great judging committee for this one. Great, the same refs that did the first two fights. Oh. I hate to be pessimistic about anything because this is good boxing, but it's just it's just, Triple G had to basically kill himself to get down here, and then Canelo Alvarez, he had to, he's Canelo Alvarez. He's not worried about anything, and it just doesn't make much of a difference in the world of boxing because these guys have, Canelo Alvarez has been at the top for a long time, and there's not much else you can do at this point other than fight those guys that you kept avoiding. And they're not going to, neither of these guys are going to do that. So at this stage of their career, they're not going to do that. It doesn't make sense. It does not make sense for two older guys, a guy who's coming off a loss, a guy who's already been undisputed without them, and then you have a guy who's 40 years old to go fight Jamal Charlo and David Benavidez. That doesn't make sense. That does not make sense to them in this fight. It doesn't. But we'll see what happens because the fight is getting ready to start. Yeah, Gennady Golovkin has never been dropped. So he has a good chin, but, competition has something to do with that as well. I just found it weird that, he looks old. I didn't think he looked in the best shape. Maybe it's just a t-shirt, but he doesn't look in the best shape. So we'll see. Oh man, this has been. Let's just get this over. So we'll never have to. This will be the deciding fight in this series, so we never have to watch this fight again after. But I'm excited. I'm ready to watch it. One thing that is a positive in this fight, that new belt looks awesome to me. That new belt for the WBC, I think it's the WBC. That new belt, that is awesome. That is awesome. I will say that. That's an awesome looking belt. So there's that. That's a positive. Okay, here's Canelo. Right, here comes. Okay, man, let's go. He basically gave us a autobiography of his life, and when he's supposed to be announcing his name so he can come to the middle of the ring. Let's go. Let's go, because we these people. The chat got places to be. They want to see this fight, and they got places they want to be, and they got stuff they got to do. We all got stuff we got to do too. We gonna watch this fight and continue on with our lives. Let's get this over with. Fighters in the middle of the ring. Let's go. Oh, Russell Moore is the referee, so Canelo's 24% of total were landed with body shots. That's kind of high. That's kind of high. It's more than Triple G, I'll tell you that much. 6% for Triple G. Yeah, right. So your point was proven. The Triple G does not go to the body a lot. That's not his MO. All right, ring the bell. Here we go. Ring that bell. Come on. There we go. Fighters in the middle of the ring. Canelo, Triple G3. Both fighters in the middle of the ring, probing, looking for openings. Canelo in the red. Triple G in the white. Canelo misses with a winging left hook. Stiff jab by Triple G right in the middle of the ring. Triple G will have to stick that jab out to keep Canelo at bay. I think the one thing that Triple G didn't do in those fights was slow down Canelo with that jab. But we'll see. He's still in the middle of the ring looking for the jab. Golovkin needs to fight with urgency. Yes. Fight with urgency and to keep Canelo off you. For Canelo, he's going to have to find a way to make Triple G dormant. He just needs to do what he did in the second fight or the first fight and make him dormant. And make him miss, make him pay.
And who's going to be the ring general? Who's going to go forward and who
Who's going to control the ring the best, though? Yeah, that's a good question. Who's going to control this ring? I would think that Canelo, with better footwork, will control this ring as he landed a left hook. Left hook again by Canelo, which is corny, but hey. Winging left hook missed by Canelo. Triple G fighting on his back foot right now, trying to stick the jab out. Triple G never really fights with enough urgency to me. Canelo winging a body shot. Golovkin still popping out that jab, looking for an opening. How much power does Triple G have left? Let's see. Golovkin never landed his right hand much either. Yeah, it's kind of hard to land on Canelo when he's ducking, bobbing, and weaving. And when you're not, when you're about the same size he is, so you know, Bebo had an easy time, but that's because Canelo couldn't do anything else but stand there and get hit. Excuse me. Power is last to go. Yeah, I get it. But everything else seems to have gone from Golovkin. His speed, his whatever. My bad, y'all. Whatever little bit of footwork that he did have is gone. So he's just standing still like a statue. Canelo probing with a jab, looking for a left hook that just missed. Golovkin being way too passive. He's fighting off his back foot, which is never really a good idea against Canelo Alvarez. That's how he lost the second fight, in my opinion. If we saw it that way, and you saw Canelo winning that fight, you could definitely make a good case that Canelo had Golovkin backing up a lot. So a pedestrian first round for both fighters. Not a lot of punches landed. Good jab by Canelo Alvarez to end the round. There we go. Got to give the round to Canelo Alvarez. You know, Golovkin didn't do much of anything that round. He just stood there and again, it's the same thing. If his chin has diminished much, then that's all she wrote. Yeah, I know. I haven't really seen Golovkin get hit like that except against Murata. He didn't look good, though. It doesn't look good. So, he didn't start well at all. I have Canelo winning this fight right now. I had him win the first round because, again, neither fighter did much, but Canelo did more. And Golovkin just stood there, so I don't know. That's not a good start for Gennadiy Golovkin. 1-0 Canelo. It pains me to watch Golovkin fight like this. He's very, very tentative right now. Very, very tentative. This is not the fight of the year, in my opinion. Back in the middle of the ring they go, round 2. Very tentative Triple G. He needs to be more aggressive, needs to up his aggression. He's not using that jab. He's just flicking it out there. That's not... Ooh! Good left hook. Leaping left hook by Canelo Alvarez in the middle of the ring. Caught Triple G right in the chin. Can Triple G cut off the ring? At least it don't look like it, because how you gonna cut off the ring but you backing up all the time? Should have been that eye-popping shot as Golovkin landed a left jab right in the middle of the ring. But Canelo's leaving himself wide open. When he lunges in with that left hook, I'm thinking that Golovkin, because Canelo lets his right hand down and when he lunges in, I'm thinking if Golovkin had any, type of speed, he can counter that with a left hand, a left hook. But right now, Canelo just looks so much faster. He's just pop-shotting him right now. Canelo looking for a right hand that just missed. They're really close to each other. Canelo feinting an uppercut. Golovkin is very tentative right now. He hasn't thrown out one right hand. Canelo just probing, giving him head movement, trying to work his way in. Jab by Canelo. Triple G is really fighting off that back foot, and he shouldn't be doing this. Lunging left hook, missed by Canelo. And fighters back in the middle of the ring. Not much action going on right now.
To win this fight is accuracy with his power shots. There's a lot of attention paid to the volume punching of Golovkin.
Ooh, good.
Punched Canelo.
Good left hook by Gennadiy Golovkin. His first punch of the fight, basically. Good right hand by Canelo Alvarez.
He'll hit your arm, he'll hit your shoulder, he'll hit anywhere that he can actually get to bring you down and to beat your body down.
He is fighting way too much on the back foot, and that's not a good sign for Gennadiy Golovkin, especially against a guy like Canelo Alvarez, who wants you to fight off his back, who wants you to fight off your back foot.
And it could hurt. Canelo actually fights with explosive speed.
You can't get anything behind the punches when you're fighting off the back foot. Yeah, and for a guy like Triple G, who needs to be coming forward to get that power, and he needs to set his feet, this is not a good start for him.
I'd love to see Golovkin dig down to the body a lot earlier.
Well, if the first 2 rounds are any indication, we're going to have another who won this fight.
Okay, round 2 over. Again, got to give it to Canelo. Not enough activity from Golovkin. He's fighting off the back foot too much. He's being pop-shotted a lot. Canelo hasn't really opened up, but he's still hitting Golovkin with ease because Golovkin has not even thrown a right hand yet. So this is, and he's already gasping for air. Canelo has the right idea, sounds like. Body work, no body work yet, but he might not need to because it already looks like Gennadiy Golovkin is tired. He's already breathing through his mouth. That's not a good sign. I think it's time. I think it's really time to hang the gloves up.
Golovkin right here with that left hook. Kind of caught Golovkin off guard. Golovkin expected a straight jab, came around with that hook. And
He's already tired.
With his famous hook, landed right on the cheek.
Grazing right hand by Golovkin landing in that round, but nothing really. This fight is really underwhelming right now. All right, round 3, fighters back in the middle of the ring.
It was interesting. Canelo said, "I'm going after the knockout in round 1." When we told Golovkin about that, he goes, "You know what? It's
Canelo landing a body shot, backing Golovkin up.
He knows he's not going to knock me out in the first
This is not the fight Golovkin wants to be fighting, and this is perfect fighting. This is a perfect fight for Canelo. Because right now, Golovkin is an unmoving target. The only direction he's moving is backwards.
to the body. This has not been his game, especially in recent years.
Ooh! Counter left by Canelo Alvarez, and then a right hand to the body. Golovkin being caught on them ropes. Can't be caught in them ropes. He's feeling those punches, so. Jab. Left hook combination for Canelo. And Triple G doesn't look, again, here we go. Triple G does not look good at all. And I said this. I just think Canelo looks in better shape.
So the speed on Canelo's part and the power, I would say, edges out Golovkin.
I agree with you, Sergio. And it's been showing so far. Canelo's been landing some pretty good shots.
Is Golovkin going to do anything but back up? Because right now he's just a punching bag for Canelo if he just keeps backing up.
One thing I remember about fighting Canelo in the fight that we had was that Canelo's very tick-tocky. You have to sometimes time him. You have to be
Fainting left hand.
understanding that.
Yeah, man, that sucks. That does suck. It's very underwhelming. I'm telling you right now, it's very underwhelming. This is not, for the way it's going, it looks like it's going to be 3-0 Canelo. Ooh, good left hand by Canelo Alvarez, lunging forward. Triple G finally moving forward, but no punches are coming behind it. Triple jab by Canelo, backs right back in, make Triple G reset. Now he's backing up again. Right hand by Golovkin just missed.
Canelo's starting to pick it up, and Triple G really doesn't have an answer right now. What I think is Triple G needs to start to use his jab more, double up on that jab, and start to put more punches together.
This fight is very underwhelming right now. It's very. I get they're having a tactical fight right now, but this is not what they said in the fighter meetings. Let's just say that. Canelo is fighting off his front foot, and Golovkin has done nothing to counteract that.
More like the second fight than it does the first. Again with the jab, Canelo really doing well.
Everybody's treating Gennady Golovkin like he's the same fighter from 4 years ago. He's not. He's 40 years old. So anybody with a brain can see that Canelo has the advantage in this fight. Yeah, I want Triple G to win, but you know it's clear that Canelo has all the advantages. 3-0 Canelo. I gave him the third round because guess what? Triple G has not shown anything in this fight right now. Too tentative. He already looks tired. No body work. Nothing. His jab is very lackluster. He's just sticking it out there just to stick it out there. There's no conviction behind any of his punches or any of his movement. And he's just standing still and is an unmoving target for Canelo Alvarez. 3-0 Canelo Alvarez. This is much different from the Bivol fight we watched. Because even when Bivol was standing there, he was trying to trade with Canelo. And never had the feeling of being endangered by Canelo. I get in the sense that Golovkin feels terrified by Canelo right now.
Look at the markings all over the face now.
And Triple G is already marked up. And he already looks tired. And it's only the 4th round. It's a 12-round fight and he's already tired. No need to take a senseless beating. I'm going to be honest with you. If he starts taking a beating, they need to stop it. And you can't let Triple G take a beating like that. At 40 years old.
Yeah, Canelo's just been a step ahead of Golovkin the entire night.
There's been no resistance coming back from Gennady Golovkin whatsoever. There's no jab. He's just moving backwards. And even when he's moving forwards, he's not throwing anything, so it's just empty calories at this point. And he's really close. They're really close to each other. But both are afraid to unleash anything. As Canelo just ripped a right hand to the body. And he's doing that same little move that he did in the first fight. Another body shot by Canelo. He's doing that. Canelo's doing that move he always do. He's trying to roll with the punches. He just landed a right hand, I'm sorry, on Gennady Golovkin. And both fighters in the middle of the ring. Golovkin is not there. Yeah, he's not throwing any power shots. He's not throwing anything right now. He's just sticking out a jab. It's a very slow jab. She did throw a straight right hand right there that landed, but no power on it. Ooh, left hand by Canelo. I hate this is going to happen like this. Yeah, it is. And it's because, you know, Gennady Golovkin is 40 years old. I don't know what we expected. I want him to win this fight, but I don't know what I expected because he's 40 years old. And he just did not look good in his last fight.
Something big is coming back. And keep in mind, Bivol lost most of the early rounds against Canelo before turning.
Here we go again. The commentator, Todd Grisham, the commentator just said that Bivol lost the early rounds against Canelo. There's been a lot. Canelo won 1 or 2 rounds in the first few. Like Bivol won the rest. Period. Again, this is why I don't like watching DAZN like that. Father Time strikes again. It comes for everybody. We saw it with Luis Ortiz last week. Now we're seeing it with Triple G. It's time to retire. There's no footwork from Triple G. Every time he punches, he's out of position. When he is punching, he's not punching with conviction. So why is he even in there with Canelo Alvarez, other than the fight for money?
10 seconds to go here.
And people are telling you that Triple G is still that guy, and there's no way. There's been nothing to say that Canelo Alvarez is in any danger at all in this fight. 4-0 Canelo Alvarez. We're going into the 5th round. This fight has been extremely underwhelming, and if you can't see that, you are lying. If you don't think so, you are lying. Period. Golovkin is tired. He has no power right now because he's not throwing anything. He's not even going to the body. He's moving backwards. He's not even moving forwards. He's moving backwards. And you can only shoot so many jabs at Canelo Alvarez before he gets the timing of it. It's not a good game plan at all. And it hasn't been a good game plan for a minute now. So here's the 5th round. For Chris Mannix. Ooh. Good left hand by Canelo Alvarez. If Triple G stumbling all over himself. He's just bullying Triple G. Ooh, over the top right hand by Canelo Alvarez. Golovkin look hurt. Yeah. He looks hurt. Apparently the stream I was watching was behind, so they're already in the 5th round, so I missed half this 5th round, but I'm guessing the way it went. I'm guessing from what I heard and what I just saw, I'm guessing Golovkin is losing this fight handily. He looks bad. He looks bad. Like he looks really, really bad. And I can't even lie. He looks really, really bad. He's stumbling over himself. He's getting hit with unnecessary shots. He's making Canelo look like the old Canelo. He's making Canelo look like he can beat Dimitri Bivol. Like he's tripping over his own 2 feet. This is not a good showing for Gennady Golovkin. It's time. He didn't look in shape anyway. He does not look in shape. There's no strength in anything that Triple G is doing. It's the 6th round and he hasn't thrown. You have to land with something to get respect, or you can't keep someone off you. Maybe they should consider the towel. It's too early for that, but I'm thinking in the next 2 rounds, yeah, maybe. There's no game plan. No, he hasn't won a single round. He hasn't thrown any punches that with conviction. He hasn't thrown anything to get Canelo's respect. He's just out there probing with the jab, probing with the jab, probing with the jab. There's nothing. He's not even throwing the jab with conviction. There's nothing that you can say that makes Gennady Golovkin look like the same fighter he was 4 years ago. He doesn't even look like he did in the 2nd fight. He looks worse. Ooh, hard jab right there by Golovkin. But there's just nothing that he can do. He's clinching. When have you ever seen Triple G clinch like that? Triple G looks old, frail, and ready to go. It's time to retire. It comes for retirement comes for everybody. Too early. Once your fighter has no chance of winning, it's towel time. That's just my opinion, man. Because he's not taking a beating. It's just that he looks like he just doesn't have any strength left. Canelo hasn't landed anything that's gonna put his lights out. Ooh, good body shot by Canelo Alvarez. There's a left hand to the body. But you know they're not gonna throw the towel. You should know that. This is Triple G we're talking about. He's probably gonna want to go out on his shield, and it will be surprising if he doesn't. We know they're not going to throw in the towel. We know that. There's no way. There's been nothing coming back for Triple G. It's another body shot for Canelo Alvarez. There's no power in any of those shots. It's just arm shots. I know they won't throw it, but it's still senseless. Maybe, yeah. There's an uppercut by Triple G that landed, but no power on it. And this is not a Dimitri Bivol situation. The left hand to the body that hurt Triple G because he immediately put his left hand down. Unnecessary is more what I mean. Yeah, I get it. I get it. You don't have to tell me. The fight with Deontay Wilder and Tyson Fury, I felt like some of those fights could have had a towel thrown in. The crowd is even booing because it's not a good fight. This is not a good fight. This is not what people paid to see. They paid to see fireworks between these two fighters, like the first 2 fights. It's the 6th round, and Canelo has won every single round. That Conor Ben Chris Eubank fight would be good though. I know that fight would be good. I like Wilder, but you are right. I'm a big fan of Deontay Wilder. I like Deontay Wilder. He's always been one of my favorite fighters. But, you know, Father Time comes for everybody. You know, Wilder's fighting later in the year. But he's nowhere near as old as Triple G. Triple G looks outmatched. And what? The second Fury fight broke my heart. Yeah. Yeah, it hurt. You can admit the third fight was really good, though. That was the best, probably one of the best heavyweight trilogies we've seen. Golovkin doing nothing as Canelo Alvarez probes with a right jab and hits him with a right hand right over the top. Fighter in the middle of the ring. Golovkin throwing two half-hearted uppercuts. Neither of them land. Left hand, right hand combination for Canelo. Now they're in the phone booth. Canelo coming over the top with a right hand in the middle of the ring. Triple G clinching. It doesn't look like Golovkin is willing to do that. It's to stand and trade with Canelo. There's been no. I want to see the final punch stats. How many punches has Golovkin thrown up until this point? And I knew something was wrong when he didn't let anybody in the locker room because he doesn't look in shape. There's no body work going on because he doesn't need to. I was surprised by Wilder in the third fight. He exceeded my expectations tremendously. Yeah, that was a good fight. But it's just that case of a guy who has your number. Some guys just have your number. I'm excited to see Wilder back in action, though. It's always better to see him in action. This fight is really underwhelming. Crowd is getting restless too. It's the most I've ever seen Triple G on his feet. Ooh, right hand by Canelo Alvarez. Set it up perfectly with a jab. I'm not overly familiar with his opponent in October. Yeah. Robert Helenius knocked out, if you've ever heard of the fighter Adam Koknacki, something like that, Robert Helenius is an okay fighter. I just lost connection to my stream. Weird. There's not going to be a judging controversy because there's nothing to have controversy with. Canelo is winning the fight. But, Robert Helenius is a good fighter for Wilder in this comeback fight. He'll probably be fighting Andy Ruiz after that, so that's a perfect. Those are perfect fights for him. Perfect.
Whether he's slowed down because of age or intimidated with the hand speed or just
There's no.
This isn't the monster we're accustomed to seeing.
Because there is no monster at 40 years old. How many monsters do you know at 40 years old? And don't say Tom Brady. How many monsters you know at 40 years old that can still be at a high level and not lose anything? And Canelo wins the 7th round for reasons I'm not even going to say because they should be obvious. He's just doing more. He's just doing more. He's not even doing anything impressive. He's just battering him now. And it's not even like in that type of fashion. He's just pop-shotting him. One shot, done. One shot, done. So, yeah, Canelo dominating this fight. We're already in the 8th round, and there has been not one single big punch landed by Gennady Golovkin. So maybe now, like I said, the next 2 rounds, maybe now you start thinking about throwing the towel before, he really gets himself hurt at 40 years old. This is why I didn't cover the Ruiz fight last week, because age catches up with everybody, even though it was a better fight. It catches up with everybody. I'm from Georgia, so I'm used to being disappointed by sports. That's messed up, man. Yeah, Georgian had it rough. Hey, but y'all just won the World Series and all that. So Georgia cool. Gennady Golovkin is doing nothing to keep Canelo up off him. He's just taking unnecessary punishment. Ooh, it's not tooth and nail. But his corner is an idiot too. This is not a tooth and nail fight. This is just disappointing. Hey, Chicago hasn't been much better, but Chicago has been full of disappointments too. But you know, we love the city. We love our sports teams. Ooh, there is nothing that Gennady Golovkin can do or is even attempting to do. This is not, and I'll be honest, this is not what I necessarily expected, but I expected more. I expected Triple G to be bad and look old. I didn't expect this. This looks bad. Like, this looks like he's putting up no resistance. It just looked like he just came here to get his check and get up out of here. Ooh, exchange. The Bears took out a legit team last week, though. Yeah, they did. In a sloppy fashion, but they did. And I'm excited. Were you a Bears fan or were you a Falcons fan? It'd be cool if you were either one.
Like what I'm seeing from Canelo also, Sergio, he's making those investments to the body this round. Maybe that'll be something that'll put the nail in the coffin.
Guys, I wish I could commentate more, but there's nothing going on right now. It's just two guys probing with jabs. Maybe Canelo lands a shot here or there. But this is not the fight I wanted to. This is not the fight people paid to see. This fight was not worth pay-per-view money. There's no. I'm a Falcons fan. Ooh, yeah, it hurts. That hurts. I like the Falcons, but it's. You know what? It crushed my heart to see the Falcons in that Super Bowl, and I hate to bring it up, but that Super Bowl crushed my heart. I thought they had that. And I'm not the biggest Tom Brady fan either, so that's why it hurts so much. Canelo on the ropes right now. Triple G just got hit with a huge right hand. And his legs buckled. Middle of the ring. Body shot by Canelo. That was the best moment of the fight right there. But there is nothing on Triple G's shots. So, guess what? It is now 8-0. I think it's the 8. We're going into the 9th round. It's 8-0 Canelo Alvarez. Nothing has been coming back from Triple G. Nothing. Nothing. There's been nothing coming back from Triple G. So you might, if you're in the corner of Gennady Golovkin, how much longer do you let this go? So I don't know. But watching that Super Bowl against Tom Brady in 2016, I really thought the Falcons had that Super Bowl, man. And it sucks how 28-3 in the third quarter and lost. They had it. That was the year. That was their time, and they blew it. It hurt so bad. It hurt all the way from Chicago. So I know it hurt in the local area. And it's not funny. It's not funny. People like to make jokes about it. But the Falcons do it all the time. They had it. We're in round 9 now. Maybe Triple G can open up a little bit more. He looks like he's opening up a little bit more, but it might be too late. A good body shot by Canelo. Middle of the ring. Both fighters really close. They're like really close to each other. It's 9-0. It's 8-0 Canelo Alvarez, and it looks like it might not change. So this fight has done nothing for either of their careers. Good uppercut by Canelo Alvarez on the inside. Overhand right by Canelo Alvarez on the inside. This fight is not close at all. And it doesn't even have that feel that if Triple G can land that one punch, it doesn't even have the feel that it would do anything because He's not even throwing one. He's not even throwing that one punch. Two, it doesn't even seem like he has the same effect on his punches as he once did. So, so if my yawning is any indication, this fight is going the same way that it's been going all night. Just Canelo dominates. Ooh, good combination by Canelo Alvarez on it. Falcons won the #1 seed several times and lost the divisional round in the last 15 years. Got a point. Looks like drama is coming because Canelo just got hit with a big right hand. And he backed up a little bit. He backed up Canelo because Canelo is standing still now. He hit Canelo with something and it buzzed him. But Golovkin has to go. Unstoppable until halftime. Yeah. But Golovkin has not jumped on this opportunity. He has Canelo where he wants him. But he just doesn't have enough gas. That's the first big shot he landed all night as a right hand comes in from Golovkin. Time to hit the gas pedal, yeah. He has Canelo on the ropes. Just the same position that Bivol had him in, but it looks like Golovkin is finally getting ready to win his first round of the fight. Ooh! Right hand by Canelo Alvarez. Triple G took it well, though. Look like Alvarez starting to get tired, though. And this is the problem with them, too. They get tired very easily. Jab to the body by Canelo Alvarez off his back foot. And I can officially say that might be a Triple G round. Just based on that one moment. He finally had Canelo Alvarez backing up in that round as he landed a good right hand. So maybe a round you can give to Gennady Golovkin. I doubt that they gave him it, but I gave it to him. But it's too little too late now. It's the 10th round, and he should have been doing this around the 5th round. So still 8 rounds to 1, Canelo Alvarez. But yeah, that game sucked to watch, and I hate the memes. I'm guilty. Everybody's guilty of making the memes and the jokes of the 28-3 in the third quarter. Everybody's guilty of it. But it's been a long time ago. That time is long past, and the Falcons are in a completely different world right now. So they mostly got rid of all those guys. So move on. See if you can build another franchise, another good team in the future. There's something in the water down here. Yeah. I mean, at least the Braves won the World Series. They won their World Series. Canelo backing up Triple G. Again, UGA would do the same thing. UGA has that issue too. Ooh, good straight jab by Gennady Golovkin. Both fighters are in the middle of the ring. Maybe Golovkin can finally put something together, but it might be, like I said, it might be too late. Golovkin has opened up a little bit more. But still not enough. It's still not enough. Because he's not definitively winning any rounds. Too many jabs, too many clinches by Gennady Golovkin. Not enough jabs thrown with conviction, and not enough punches with enough power to even do anything to Canelo at this point. Canelo does look tired, though. I will say that. Good body shot by Canelo Alvarez.
Yeah, we saw Golovkin drop that right hand. He felt that one. You can see Canelo just staring at the midsection now. Yep.
Yeah, he's hunting that body. That 40-year-old body is weak. There's an uppercut by Triple G. Triple jab by Canelo Alvarez. Another clinch by Gennady Golovkin. When have you ever seen Gennady Golovkin clinch like this? That's what I'm saying. When have you ever seen Gennady Golovkin clinch? They're in the middle of the ring. You're as close as you're going to get to the guy. Throw the punch. Another clinch by Gennady Golovkin. Let's just say that this fight wasn't worth the money that they put up on it. Ooh, counter uppercut by Canelo Alvarez just grazed the chin of Gennady Golovkin. Left hook by Gennady Golovkin. Ooh, right uppercut by Gennady Golovkin in the middle of the ring. Golovkin looking for that big shot. Triple jab by Triple G. Show the fight. Nope. Can't show it. It might be too late, too. You got here a little bit too late, my brother. Because it's the 11th round. How you going to call time at the end of the round? I don't know who to give that 10th round to. I feel like Triple G won that last round because he was more active, but I don't know. That's a very close round. Brave should have already had 5 World Series, though. True. That is very true. It could be worse. You could be Milwaukee Brewers, who haven't won one. It could be a lot worse. I gave that round to Triple G, but he's still losing the fight. I felt like he did some good work in that round. Triple G did with the triple jab. He made a good showing in that round. Okay showing. Gave him enough for that round, but at this point, winning rounds does nothing for you because you gotta win the fight by knockout. So win the 11th round. 2 more rounds, another round to go, and we'll be out of here. Now Triple G is really opening up with that jab. Now he looks like he's throwing the punches with conviction. Now they're exchanging on the inside. Canelo exchanging on the inside. The combination to the body and head in the middle of the ring. Triple jab by Triple G in the middle of the ring. Another clinch by Triple G. He had to muster up all the strength he had. Canelo fans gonna be rapid now. Yeah, okay. Take your wins where there's an old saying, take your wins where you can get them, right? And all the power to them. It's their weekend. Ooh, good uppercut by Canelo Alvarez. It's their weekend. They can enjoy it. This is what they waited for. Stiff jab by Gennady Golovkin. Golovkin has been winning these last few rounds, though, but it's not close. It's not close enough to even say, there's controversy to this. You take your wins where you can get them, I guess. But this doesn't do much for Canelo Alvarez, because guess what? You beat a 40-year-old man who didn't look all that great. And I'm not going to use that as no excuse either, but whereas Golovkin, he took the fight, and he knew what he had to do. He just didn't do it, so... Everything is very tentative with Gennady Golovkin. This is his own fault. Yeah, but it's not being competitive and then winning the round is different. Because he can very well be competitive, but he hasn't won. You don't know how the judges have scored. They could have it scored a shutout. Like right now, I'd giggle if the judges pulled a hocus pocus against Canelo though and think it was justice. Yeah, I doubt they do that though. I would wish, I would like to see that happen one day. They pulled a hocus pocus on Canelo. A lot of people thought they pulled a hocus pocus on Canelo in the Bivol fight. Don't know how, don't ask, but you know these people. They know who they are. Yeah, it looks like Canelo won this round to me. Triple G didn't do much. He needs a knockout, so you never know. But Canelo's never been knocked down or knocked out. So, gave that round to Canelo. At this point, what more is there to be said that hasn't already been said? Gennady Golovkin is tired. Again, He's had better rounds, but he's been competitive, but it's just not enough to win that round. So, it's not a good look. 108, 101, Canelo Alvarez. He's basically cruising his way to unanimous decision. Who's coming up next? Let me check the schedule. Let me go ahead and check my schedule. I thought I listed it in a comment somewhere, but... One minute. We got some good fights coming up. It'll be much better than this, I'll tell you that much. So on September, next Friday we got Shakur Stevenson, Robin Conceição. Last round of the fight. So Saturday, the 24th, we have Joe Joyce, Joseph Parker. Floyd Mayweather will be back in action in the exhibition. October 8th, we'll have Sebastian Fundora. October 15th, we'll have Caressa Shields and Savannah Marshall. That same 15th, we'll have Deontay Wilder and Robert Helenius. That same 15th, we'll have Devin Haney and George Kambosos. The 29th, we'll have Vasily Lomachenko and Jermaine Ortiz. If you're interested in Jake Paul, Anderson Silva, there's that on the 29th. And that's about it. On November 5th, we'll have Dimitri Bivol and Gilberto Ramirez. And then anything that's unofficial and hasn't been announced yet. Fundora versus Carlos Ocampo. Yes, I know. Don't add. I don't know who he is either. All I know Carlos Ocampo for is being knocked out by one body shot from Errol Spence. So I'll probably post the stream schedule in the comment section of this video. I'll probably pin it. So be looking out for that. I'll pin the comment in the comment section after I'm done. And you can get the full stream schedule there. So I'll link it. I'll post it in the comment section of this video. Just be looking out for that. So you can get a full stream schedule. If you're wondering why I'm not commentating this round, it's because nothing is going on right now. This doesn't look like a 12th round. This is not a classic third fight. This was horrible. You know how much of a failure this fight was? No, don't even compare that. There's no drama, no nothing. It's just, this was not what people paid to see. This is not what we expected coming in. This is not the fight we expected to see. As much as they built this fight up and as much as they hyped it up, it's been very underwhelming. The fans are booing. It's just not good. This has been an underwhelming performance for both fighters. One, very disappointing for Triple G. Very underwhelming from Canelo Alvarez. So we can move on. Finally, time to move on from Triple G. Are we done with the Triple G stuff? Are we done with that finally? Disappointment is the word. Yeah. It's disappointing. Fight over. Canelo Alvarez has won by unanimous decision, 118-110 on my card. Moving on to next week, Shakur Stevenson, Robin Conceição. I'll see if I can get that up if I have enough time that day. My schedule has changed a little bit, so some things might be revised. I don't know what I'm gonna do October 15th. You as in the comment section need to tell me what I need to stream that day. I'll list it, in the comment section. So let me know, especially on that October 15th, because we have a lot of fights that day, and there's no way I'm gonna be able to do all of them in one day. There's just no way. So I'm gonna need at least pick one or two. And I'll list them in the comment section. So let me know. I'm serious. Let me know that feedback for October 15th, because I'm not going to be able to do all those fights in one day. But yeah, it's time to retire Triple G. Good career, underwhelming but good, and No drama in this fight. I'm going to end the stream early after they announce the decision. I'll get up out of here. I'll post that comment in there. Make sure you let me know what to do for October 15th. So choose a fight. Choose the fights that y'all want to see streamed on that date, on the 15th of October. We got 4 fights that day. I need to figure out which one I'm going to stream that day. So I don't know if I can do them all, because that's a lot. That's a lot for that day. But other than that, we're still waiting for some big fights to be made. You know, I heard Terrence Crawford. Yeah, time to hang it up. So let me get this decision out the way, and I'll end the stream. Be looking out for more of these in the future. I hope they just hurry up and get the decision done. I don't even want to watch. I'll get you some feedback. Thank you, Tahoe. Shout out to the homie Tahoe in the chat. You know, you've been a great help this stream, and we've had some good conversations. I'm hoping I can see you in the next boxing stream I do. I don't know if I'm going to be able to do the Shakur Stevenson, Robin Conceição fight. I'll try, but if I can't do that, I'll definitely do Joseph Parker, Joe Joyce, just to get something up. And we'll see what we can do in the future. Hopefully more fights will be made. Hopefully that Terrence Crawford, Spence fight will be done and finalized. You know, maybe we get Gervonta Davis, Ryan Garcia later in the year. But you never know. Here's the decision. Triple G wasn't much of a warrior tonight. He didn't even look like... Triple G looks checked out. He's done. He came to collect the check. And that's fine. So he can retire into the sunset. Yep. Friday as a fight night, that's weird. That's what the schedule says. So can I just name those fights on the 15th? So on the 15th, we have Russell Shields versus Marshall. 15th, that same 15th, we have Deontay Wilder, Robert Helenius. And then we have Devin Haney, George Kambosos on that very same day. So I'll post it in the comment section. You let me know which fight you want to see. The next big fight I can see on here is Conor Benn, Chris Eubank Jr. That's going to be good. That's going to be good. But unanimous decision for Canelo Alvarez. I ain't got much to say about this. This doesn't really help him. He can put that crown on his head all you want. But, you know, it is what it is. This wasn't really a big win for either fighter, and then everybody, Wilder fight priority. Are you sure? Are you sure? Because that Devin Haney, George Kambosos fight is also good. So, I don't know. But that Conor Benn fight will be good. That Chris Eubank Conor Benn fight will be good. If I can get that Shakur Stevenson fight, I'd be perfect. But Canelo Alvarez didn't do much for most fighters. It didn't do much for his career. It didn't do much for Gennady Golovkin's career. He can get up out of here. He can go ahead and retire, hang up the gloves before he gets himself hurt. You know, no more Canelo versus Triple G. The trilogy is over. The series is over. Canelo has won it. We'll see where he goes from here. I'm going to get up out of here. Any questions before I go? If you have any questions, leave them in the chat before I get up out of here. Let me think more on it. Yeah, think more on it. I'll post it in the comment section. And you get back to me at any time, and I'll take your word for it. So, get up out of here. So, any questions? Questions, comments, and concerns? Thanks, pal. Yep, thank you for tuning into the stream and the support. All right. No questions, no concerns. All right. I'm up out of here. Thank you guys for watching. I'll have more streams like this in the future. Remember, I'll be posting the schedule in the comment section. Thank you guys for watching. I am out. Peace.